Oh my God. Dortmund, what happened? I tell you what happened. They were punished. Punished by a rampant, youthful Barcelona side who have grown in stature under Hansi Flick. He does enjoy working with the young uns. Whilst it feels that Niko Kovac made a tactical miscalculation, overlooking a tried and tested back three and not even packing out his midfield. That aside, it wouldn't have mattered if Kovac would have parked not only a single bus, but a fleet of buses in front of that back four, because that Barcelona side, they would have found a way to have passed through it and scored like they did. Dortmund must be feeling sick right now. I tell you what, though, it's a good job the doctor's on call, and he'll see you now. Oh, Gonzo, I should have dressed up. Should have gone for the doctor cosplay. Anyway, the doctor will see you now. Barcelona 4, that's right, 4, Dortmund 0. This was boys against men, where the boys proved that if you're old enough, you are good enough. And there were a number of boys in that Barcelona side who were more than good. In fact, they were fucking great. Take 17-year-old Lamine Yamal. He's not worried about playing against men. For him, he treated this game like another kick around with his crew in the park. Pau Guirassy at the back, well, he's just the tender age of 18. He was robbed of a goal by ex-Leeds poacher Rafinha. More on that later. Gavi, our one to watch, well, he's only 20. Fermin Lopez, he's 21, as is Alejandro Balde. Ansu Fati, who previously was on loan at Brighton, he's only 22. Is it? Oh, do you know what? Recording time, it was nearly 10 to 2. Ansu Fati's only 22. Anyway, you see where I'm going with this thread, right? The average age of that Barcelona side was just 24. And that number is only skewed upwards by 36-year-old Robert Lewandowski up front. That said, he looks, and he's playing like he's 26. He looks lean, like he spends all day pumping iron on the Catalan equivalent of Muscle Beach. For that young Barca side to play the way they did, cutting Dortmund open repeatedly without mercy, can you imagine what this side is going to be capable of when they hit their peak? I mean, if you're one of Anton, Chan, Rice, and then Ben Sabani, then you probably don't want to even think about that. At least not before De Classica. As we did with Vincent Kompany, let's cut Niko Kovac some slack. Nico Schlotterbeck, well, he went down injured before the game. In fact, he's now out for the rest of the season. Kovac was also missing his veteran defensive midfielder, Pascal Gross. He would have anchored that midfield, winning the ball and feeding it off to players like Julian Brandt and whoever else is playing out wide. Plus his partner in their favoured double pivot, Marcel Sabitzer, well, he's also a long-term casualty. Disclaimer time. That's right, Gonzo. We've got to put that out there. It's worth putting forward that we feel like Niko Kovac set this game up wrong for Dortmund. He went with a 4-2-1-3. Yeah, that's Brandt behind the front three, rather than a tried and tested 3 at the back. I mean, that decision was probably forced on him because of the Schlotterbeck injury. Having said that, the absolute giant that is Nicolas Soule, well, he's over 6'4" and looks like 5 foot wide. He's a natural to play in a back three. That would have been alongside Anton and Chan. Chan's the golden boy, by the way. Kovac made Chan captain, and he started him in every single game under Niko Kovac's reign so far. That switch from a back three to a 2 centre-back pairing, well, again, we feel like it proved to be a big tactical miscalculation, since it exposed a Dortmund defence who have conceded 43 goals already in the Bundesliga. And as we'll discover, Kani Chukwuemeka and Felix Nemechek. This is going to have to be Chuck and Felix. Well, they were nowhere near as effective as a defensive shield as would have been Gross and Sabitzer. And those poor fullbacks, the ruddy-faced Julian Ryerson and Rami Bensebaini, well, they were being slaughtered by Rafinha and Yamal, respectively, time and time again. Whereas it seemed like a more practical approach would have been to pack that midfield with extra bodies, perhaps in a 4-5-1, and stick Guirassy up front on his own, all while sitting in a low block to stifle the creative powerhouse that is Barcelona. And again, it's a feature of Dortmund's game under Kovac, which is pace. Yeah, utilising the pace of that front three. Put my teeth back in. Of that front three with Adeyemi, Gittins and Guirassy, putting balls over the top or trusting in Julian Brandt to slide one through and then break on the counter-attack. It's been highly effective in the Bundesliga. 7 of their goals in the Bundesliga have come that way on the counter-attack. And yet, seldom could they catch a break against Barca. That was a Barca side that were reluctant to give up the ball. In fact, they were playful with it, enjoying 60% possession. And on the rare occasion that Dortmund did win the ball, it was concentrated in the middle third of the pitch, either going sideways or backwards, Jordan Henderson style, as they felt the intense counter-press from Barca. I suppose when you've got young people in your side with a lot of energy, then they'll be quite comfortable in that counter-press. I mean, let's be honest, right? Barcelona were always going to be relentless in their drive forward on attack. And again, with youthful players like Lamel and Lopez and Pedri, I mean, they literally fear nobody. Dortmund, well, they could have been 3 down inside 7 minutes were it not for Gregory Corbell coming up with some fine saves. Lamel coming close with an outrageous solo attempt, which was just clear intent that Barcelona were out for the kill. Post-match, Karim Adeyemi, well, he had the honesty to admit that he felt embarrassed for his personal display. It takes a lot of courage for any man, to admit his failings, especially in front of the entire world. It seems like he does thrive on getting himself wound up in matches. And whilst we did chuckle at the schoolboy tug on the back of Jules Condé's dreads, it was a rookie mistake which exposed him to a potential red card later on. In fact, Kovac does go on to yank him off at half-time. Well, not that kind of channel. In fact, it was from that very free kick that Adeyemi conceded with his petulance, which led to the Barcelona opening goal. Fermin Lopez swings in a ball from the right. Guirassy isn't anywhere near as tight as his man, Inigo Martinez, as he should be. Martinez, well, he heads the ball back into the danger zone. Ryerson isn't making life uncomfortable enough for the young Pau Kabasi, who diverts the ball painfully towards Kobel's goal. Rafinha, once of dirty leads, well, he swoops in to touch it home. That's a move, selfish as it was, that could have jeopardised the entire goal. As it was, VAR ruled it to be onside, and that made it 1-0 Barcelona. Dortmund missed chances, really tasty chances too. All 3 in that first half pretty much fell to Guinean striker Sehrou Guirassy. Guirassy bungled a one-on-one with ex-Arsenal keeper old man Wojciech Szczesny, coming back out of retirement, by the way, to replace the injured Ter Stegen. I think he's 37. It's worth clapping that in. There was another attack from the left through Adeyemi, who was by far Dortmund's best attacking threat. This time, Guirassy missed the bounce of the ball from the cross, which beat the defender, and Guirassy appeared to step over it. Although the biggest mistake was on the 36th minute. Brandt flicks the ball over the top of the Barca defence, and with the goal gaping in front of him, Guirassy inexplicably took his eye off the ball, and his volley, 12 metres out, well, he just fluffed his lines, and it ended up in the hands of Szczesny. He won't enjoy seeing that one again clipped on YouTube. Actually, we haven't done it because we're empaths. We're empaths on this channel. Guirassy was offside a few times as well, which is a nagging feature of his game. But we're not here to shit on Guirassy. No. It must be a thankless task playing up front on your own, which opens up another critical point, and that's distance. There seems to be a large distance between him and the Dortmund 5 in midfield. Dortmund 5 sounds like a prison drama, the Dortmund 5. And again, losing Pascal Gross. It was like having to fight against a bear without any upper limbs. He wasn't there to screen a fragile Dortmund defence who, as we've highlighted already, has conceded 43 goals in the Bundesliga so far this season. And in the absence of Gross, well, Chuck, he was being asked to retreat backwards into a conservative double pivot with Felix Numcheka. And that's not a natural instinct for Chuck. He's all about bombing forward and finding space. On a side note, have you seen that Scott Parker's Burnley have only conceded 12 goals in 41 EFL Championship games this season? I mean, I appreciate the standard of the Championship is very much inferior to the Champions League, which is the focus of this episode, but going that dry at the back over such a long period of time, it's just incredible, honestly. It really is. And they're currently second as well in the Championship and looking odds on to go up. From Burnley to Barcelona, see what we did there. It was 2-0 pretty much from the restart. Pedri had time to pick out Lamal wide on the right, whilst Ben Sabani was, well, he was standing too far off him. And Ben Sabani learned nothing at all from that opening 45 minutes. One simple drop of the shoulder later, and Lamal was left with time and the freedom to pick out Rafinha at the far post. He heads it back across goal, unchallenged by Ryerson, which is greeted eyes wide open by Lewandowski, also unchallenged by Anton, with a training ground header to finish that move and make it 2-0 Barca. It felt like Dortmund hadn't woken up, which is a great concern because you need to be switched on and vigilant at all times. You know, you need to be aware of all threats, both foreign and domestic. Certainly against a team like Barcelona anyway. Fermin Lopez went close himself, grazing Kobel's post with a raking drive. And that wasn't long before he found space on the right, picked out by a beautiful through ball from Yamal. Honestly, check out that pass, by the way. It cut Dortmund open with engineered precision, slicing open the space in between Numcheka and Ben Sabani. Lopez then squares the ball to Lewandowski, and he's bursting into the area just with more desire than Ryerson, and he lashed home his second and Barca's third. The pace of that breakaway and that attack from Lopez onto the pole was just frightening. The attacking outlet of Barca was devastating all game. Lamal, well, he carried the ball into the Dortmund box 4 times whilst pulling off 2 key passes. That's from only 55 touches in the game, mind you. And similarly, Rafinha, well, he enjoyed himself as well. He carried the ball 3 times into the box from 50 touches, even found time to put in 4 crosses and produce 5 key passes of his own. I do want to hand out a small man's wetsuit-sized level of applause to that humbled Dortmund midfield. Numcheka, well, he won 2 out of his 3 tackles. Salih Ozcan coming on as a sub, he won 2 tackles, whilst Chuck, well, he made 3 interceptions. Kovac, he threw attacking bodies into the game late on. That was an effort to reduce the deficit. However, that left even more space for Barca to play through, which is where the 4th goal comes from. The catalyst was actually a misplaced pass from Brandt back to Anton, which never looked on. It was intercepted by Lewandowski. He fad wasn't a fad. This Barcelona team's here to stay. He fed Rafinha. Barca were now going 3-on-1 with Dortmund in the final third. Rafinha passed the ball into acres of space inside the Dortmund box. Ben Sabani made a valiant effort to cut off the onrushing Lamal, but the diminutive Spaniard, well, he got to the ball first, and his intelligent toe poke caught Gregory Korbel flat-footed. The ball ends up in the bottom corner, and it's 4-0 Barcelona. Chances, well, they did come late on for Dortmund. Julian Brand had 2 efforts denied by Herculean levels of blocking from substitute Ronald Araujo. And when they did score through Maxi Bayer on the 90th minute, it was disallowed for offside. Guirassy again being the culprit. Barcelona won 4-0. That's with 10 shots on target, which makes it 7 wins out of 7 for Hansi Flick against Dortmund, and his 25th win as a coach in 29 Champions League matches. That is a remarkable level of consistency. And Lewandowski, well, he set a record, scoring 10 Champions League goals in a single season for 3 different clubs, whilst he's also scored 29 career goals against the team that arguably gave him his break in professional football in Dortmund. It's not personal, it just feels more like fate. Our one to watch for Barcelona was the young Gavi. Gavi, the 20-year-old Spanish attacking midfielder. He came on as a sub for Fermin Lopez. He only had 17 minutes to play with, and in that time, he only managed 4 touches. 2 of those, though, were in the Dortmund final third. 2 of his passes made it to a teammate, and he did win a tackle. Plenty of time, though, for this young man to develop his game and get more minutes in the future. On that note, Barca, well, they play Leganes next in La Liga. Leganes are 18th out of 20, so it feels like Gavi will get a start. And the Dortmund one to watch was Sehrou Guirassy, the 29-year-old Guinean striker. Up to this game, he had 10 goals in the Champions League. He had a stinker, though, against Barca. 30 touches, 4 of those were in the penalty box. He did take 3 shots. Only 1 of those was on target. He won 5 out of his 7 aerial duels, and he beat his man once. It's probably a game that he's not going to put on his showreel. As for our prediction, well, it's a complete miss from us, just like it was from Guirassy. Barcelona, well, they attacked with a free spirit that was as mesmerising as it was scary to watch. That's the 12th time, by the way, that Barca have scored 4 or more in a game so far in the 25 calendar year. They've chalked up an unbelievable 56 goals, by the way, in that period of time since January. Plus, they're unbeaten now in 23 games across all competitions. It feels like they're unstoppable. Dortmund, well, they have fought their way They've fought their way back into Champions League games before, especially in the knockout stage. They did that with Atletico last season, although that margin was only 2. Facing a 4-goal deficit feels like it's way too much this time round. So they'll be playing for pride in front of that yellow wall at the Westfalen Stadion. And that's it. It's another shortish video from us. Which of those poor Dortmund souls would you want to show some appreciation for? How would you go about approaching the second leg? And what did you think of our wild prediction? You know the drill by now. Let us know in the comment section down below. Thanks as ever for the support. It means so much to us. If you could find it in your heart to like, even subscribe, well, that would increase awareness of the channel. But, as you know, a like and a subscribe is your free will. We're back soon with a preview of all the games coming up in match day 29 of the Bundesliga. In the meantime, you're welcome to check out our reaction to Munich's narrow 2-1 loss at home to Inter. Otherwise, all that needs to be said is that he's been Gonzo, I've been Craig, you've been extremely patient. I'll be the same for now. Thanks for the support as ever, and we'll see you very soon.